It's Monday night. Are you ready for some knitting? Oh, yeah. Charlie's making an appearance. He was baited with catnip. So I'm sure he might act a little silly for a while. But I decided to move the blanket over there instead of on my stool over here. So that way he's in the shot. You know, catnip. Cats, catnip, you know. Anyway, hello, happy Monday. I'm Leah of Pygmy Tiger Knits, and this is the Pygmy Tiger, Charlie. This is a knitting, crafting, fiber enthusiast, loving podcast. I am Pygmy Tiger Knits on Instagram. So feel free to like, follow, subscribe here on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you so much to the people that have subscribed and watched. It makes me feel good to watch that number keep going up. And I hope you like what I have to say. So it's going to be a little bit shorter today. I don't have as much. I've been working on a bigger project. So I guess we can talk about shenanigans a little bit. So my middle daughter, Lucy, is about to start preschool. So I've been working on getting her ready for preschool and doing some shopping with just her and picking out some clothes and shoes and also getting ready for a big trip to Seattle to visit my mom and sister-in-law and prepping to fly with 3 children by myself. So there's been some shopping with that too, and also just practicing, training kids. I don't think people give parents enough credit that kids don't just automatically behave. You really have to work at it and you have to practice. And there's going to be those moments where they are not the best behaved. And I'm about to take my kids in a flying tin can where people cannot escape them. So I am working my hardest to try to make it a pleasant experience for both my kids and the other passengers. And also practicing restaurants. As you know, COVID has kept us out of restaurants. We really like to go out to eat. We used to go out to eat at least once a week. And since COVID, you know, Lucy's training stopped pretty abruptly at about 1.5 years old. So that has been, we've picked that training up with her and with Maggie. And I got to take just Maggie and Lucy out to eat last week. It was just the two of us, or just the two of them, with just me, and we actually received high praise from the waitress, and she said they were the best behaved kids she's seen in a while, so that was really nice. But when you throw all 3 in the mix, it's a little bit more challenging, especially if it's just me. So practice for them, practice for me. Just, you know, I keep waiting for fall, y'all. I don't really like August. August is not my favorite month, really, of the year. Like, it's like saying goodbye to summer. You're ready for summer to go. It's generally really hot and muggy and gross. It's the hottest time of the summer. I am just ready for blue jeans and sweatshirts and sitting outside on the deck more because we can stand it because it's no longer humid. So I'm just looking forward to those kinds of things. And also getting ready and planning the kids' Halloween costumes. I really like to make their Halloween costumes, so I put a lot of time and effort into it. So I have to have them nail down their choices early so I can plan, fabricate, and start creating. Last year, we all went as Chick-fil-A, and I created cow sweatshirts and headdresses for everybody to wear, and I had made Edie a chicken costume a couple years previous, and she was completely covered in feathers. It was just awesome, and her bucket was a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket. It was so good, and I was pregnant with Lucy, so I made my stomach an egg, and it was great. So, of course, we had to reuse that costume. So Lucy got to be the chicken this last year, and the rest of us were cows. So we went as Chick-fil-A and had the sign and the whole bit. And then Edie became completely obsessed with Paw Patrol, so she wanted to be Chase, which is the policeman dog. And so some other amazing mom that I Pinterested had came up with these files, and you could just order her downloads and print it and basically convert a cardboard box that I picked up from the UPS store into a Chase car, and then put her in brown shirt and pants and a blue vest, and I made her Chase hat, and she loved it. It was fabulous. It was pretty cool. Like, it lit up and had flasher light. It was really neat. So, but this year they would like to be, so far the answers have been mermaid princesses. So I'm trying to come up with some sort of cool mode of transportation with like the pool and some kind of bubbles, or it could be cool. we'll see. So that's kind of it for shenanigans. A lot of knitting, a lot of plant taking care of, working on our little urban garden. My tomatoes are coming in. Although, if anybody has any tips for heirloom tomatoes, I love heirloom tomatoes. They are delicious. They're one of my favorite things. Some salt, some pepper, a little bit of goat cheese, some basil. So good. So I was really excited to grow my own. But something is like making them get like mushy and brown before they're even to the point of ripeness. And it's like at the bottom. So I don't know if it's like some bug or fungus or what, but it makes me really sad because I've been waiting all summer for my stupid heirloom tomatoes, and all my other ones are doing just fine, but the heirloom ones are the ones that are getting attacked, and it's just like, give me my tomatoes. So I took a little bit of break from the Christmas knits for a bit, and I am continuing working on the sock venture. So I have finished. Sue, if you don't want to see your socks, then don't be peeking, but I can't control, so do what you want. So these are Sue's completed birthday socks. So fun. This yarn is so cozy. And, you know, she's got little dinky 7.5 inch or 7.5. Like, these are so tiny and little. So Sue doesn't really like hot pink. She really likes baby pink. But I had to throw a little bit of my hot pink flare. That's the mini that came with these. And then the fun variegated, very princess. Love this. And then I just used a white for the toe. So Sue's lovely socks. Now I gotta go find some spam and send them in the mail to Sue. Hopefully she gets those. So that yarn was Svena Knits, small batch, made in Maine. There's the label. It's really a really yummy base. It's a 75/25, but it is very squishy and fuzzy and has a bit of a halo. It's really beautiful. So I am fortunate enough that there's enough left for a pair of socks for me. So we'll see if I knit those next or some Christmas socks. We'll see. So I got that done, and I made Shannon's Brio Cherry hat. Gotta style this a little bit more here. Get my hair out. So this I love. It is just such a happy knit. So much fun. And it's completely reversible. So the orange side is technically the right side out, and I know because I cast on with orange at the bottom, but the way that this is designed, where you do increases, you're doing on the wrong side and the right side, so you still get the design really nice on both sides. So mine has the mint as the main color on the outside, and hers has the orange. She really liked it. So now we have matching bestie hats. So I need to get going over to UPS probably next week when Lucy's at school, because I only have to wrangle 2 kids at UPS instead of all 3. Make her a little squishy mail package. So this is the Brio Cherry hat, and I knit it using the orange was Trey Liz, and the mint color was Lemonade Shop, and they're both single ply, but I just held them together because it's a DK pattern. Really well done. I really like this pattern. But both times I made this pattern, I kept screwing up and I had to tink. And brioche tinking ain't no fun at all. You do learn a lot though. I mean, look at that crown. Isn't that crown cool? That is just so cool. So I got to tink a bit, and then I don't know why I didn't learn the first time and like go and underline, because I would keep missing the row where I had to do a brioche burp, or no, brioche burp, yarn over brioche burp. So that stitch where you're increasing 3 and it's on the wrong side of the fabric, I kept missing it, and then I wouldn't catch it till like 3 rows later when I need to do something with those other extra 2 stitches. So, oh God. So I finally just ended up writing it on there. Hopefully it won't happen again if I make that hat again. So those are my 2 completed objects, and I've been really into my 2nd Avenue wrap, which I finally did print the pattern to show all of you. So this is it right here, and it's by Amy Miller, and I think the yarn she calls for is Plucky Primo Fingering, which I'm sure you could, convert any pattern, use whatever fingering you want. But I picked up all of this fingering weight when I was at Wool and Honey, when they had their Plucky weekend. And it's all Primo fingering, and I just love it. And it was all yarn that they dyed exclusively for Wool and Honey, inspired by Leelanau County. So that was really, really, really cool. And they're just such dreamy colors. And she has a schematic to kind of map out where your things are. So I just took a bunch of my kids' crayons and kind of colored and mapped in where my colors would go to kind of decide where they were going to go. So I've actually been knitting like a fiend on this ever since I couldn't work on the brioche hat during the day with my kids because I have to focus on brioche. But I like to have something else that I can work on. So this is just such an easy knit. It's simple stockinette stitch, knit down, purl back, little edge on it. I'm in the eyelet section right now. I only have 2.5 more repeats of it before I switch colors. So last time I talked to you, I was all the way down here. And I only pick this up like, I don't know, midweek, I think. Yeah, because I finished the socks first and then I started working on this. So been working on that. So I will probably, when I'm done podcasting tonight, get done with this section and move on to the next, and we'll just see how far I get tonight. But really, really loving this. This yarn is so wonderfully drapey and fabulous, and it's so cozy. And normally I would be like, oh, it's just stockinette on one side, and then you got the reverse stockinette. This isn't necessarily the prettiest, but the way this is drapey and the way you wear it, like, it's going to kind of curl in on itself. So you just have this wonderful, it's very light. It's not heavy. It's going to be very, very, very cozy. Cannot wait to wear this with a crew hood or a crew sweatshirt and some great jeans and my boots. Hopefully very soon. So it's living in my Hoagie Locatelli and West Knits conversion bag. This bag is growing on me. I have to say, it wasn't what I expected when it first arrived. I was super excited about it because, I mean, neon, hello, and real Argentinian leather. I thought it was going to be bigger, and I got in one of those click happy things because things are going to go really fast, and I just click, 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 checked it out, and was super excited. It arrived here crazy fast. I think it took like 3 days from Argentina. Thank you, DHL. So, and it should for how much shipping costs, but so it's kind of like, wah. But I like how it sits open like this when you're knitting, when you have something in it and it like just kind of holds itself open. I do like that. And it does hold it's deceptively big. It's deceivingly big for how small it looks. Like there are 5 skeins, 5 cakes in here. So it is definitely growing on me. It's very pretty. And it just smells so good. Oh my God, leather. Yum. Then here's the finished swatch that got blocked. And I just counted, and I think I'm on gauge. Oh, I have 25 stitches per inch. And see, this is the pattern. This is the kid version, Christmas in July. So you have to look at it. The first time I swatched, I looked at the gauge for this one, and she does 2 different gauges for the same yarn. I was like, oh, shoot. So it's a 2-for-1 pattern. So she does the kid size, and this is the adult size. So this is Christmas in July from Tanis Fiber Arts. So the adult version had a different gauge, and I don't know why it's printing like with the black background. I printed this twice and they both came up black, even though my download has a white background. So very, very odd. I don't have a special setting. I've printed whatever. So I will be pulling this up. So 24 stitches. So I'm a little bit too tight on my gauge, which means technically I should go up a needle size, but I'm nervous that the fabric will get too loose and I won't like it. So I will do the math. I will take my 25 stitches, divide it by 4 inches, and then do my measurement for where I want to be, and then pick whatever size is close to that stitch count. So that, as soon as this 2nd Avenue wrap is done, this is going on the needles. Cannot wait. Got a little bit of math to figure out. So that is in the works. I'm excited. New sweater coming on the needles. I've been itching for it. I have a little bit of stash acquisitions, but it's not yarn related. It is actually fabric related. So there's this shop in Indianapolis I've talked about before called Crimson Tate. Hello, Heather. Miss you. Love you. Heather Given. She's fabulous. So here's a sticker that she included in my package. I was on her Instagram. I really shouldn't be on Instagram because Brendan and I are trying to not be on social media because it makes us spend money. And by makes us, we mean tempts us greatly. But this fabric, oh my God. The designer is Sally Kelly Paradiso. And this is her, there's 5 different fabrics in here. Oh. And just, I mean, this is like 70s retro meets Anne Frank meets Dr. Seuss. Like, don't those look like truffula trees? And like, I mean, look at that. Look at that. There's that one. And like, almost like Liberty of London-esque and like, how do you say his name? Cafe Facet, whatever his name is. Oh my God, these colors. And here's the stars in a different colorway. And then these like crazy, like, ugh, I just can't. These are gorgeous and I had to have them. I don't know what they're going to be yet. 5 yards is a decent amount of yardage. It could potentially be a small lap quilt. It could definitely be a couple project bags because then I feel like I'll have it forever. It's never going anywhere. But I mean, the same thing with quilts. But I have so many quilts. It's like, how do I give love to all the quilts and make them feel loved? Or maybe a garment, but I don't know what kind of garment. I've never sewn a garment for myself. My sister is really into that. Or I just don't know yet, but it's so yummy. I had to. It's just so happy. It's so happy and colorful and loud. Love it. So that will be heading down to the sewing room. Coming down the works soon. I'm going to be working on the 2nd Avenue wrap. We'll see how fast I can get it done. Maybe I'll challenge myself and see if I can get it done before the next podcast next week. Because where am I? I'm in this section right now. And I'm sure I'll get this one done tonight. So, like, I'm pretty close to the halfway point. So that is definitely plausible. So there's that. I want to cast on that sweater. I have a quilt downstairs that I would love to get pieced before we go to Seattle. My mom has a long arm machine. So just being able to drop it off with her and leave it there and maybe go shopping for the backing fabric because I'm super bad at figuring out the math for backing fabric and leave it with my mom. And then she'll bring it. Maybe. That's like wishful thinking. When is my mom going to long arm quilt? If she would bring it back at Christmas time when she comes to visit. So that's, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling my Christmas knit pressure a little bit again. So I have my overflowing basket of Christmas themed yarns. Not all of them are socks. So I thought I'd go through and show you what I have gathered and collected for my Christmas knit. So this one, big floofy yarn. This is from Loopy Mango out of LA. And this is the Merino number 5. So this is not, I think there's like 2 more that are bigger than this. It's crazy. It is 150 grams and it's only 74 yards. Made in Italy. Where does she have the needle size recommended on here? I don't think so, but let's just say huge. I think like the last time I used like size 25 when I made a hat. So last Christmas I knit this really cute stripy ear flap hat that was red and white and loved it. It's so Christmassy. It's got a big old pom-pom on it and I love it. And I used some of the leftovers and made a cowl, which, come to think of it, I need to rip out and make smaller because it was just one I made up on the fly. So just to make it a little bit better. And then I thought, well, I need one that's just like Christmas colored. That was getting pretty close to when I was like, I think I really want to invest some time in 2021 into creating more Christmas themed knits. So that way I'm just like completely Christmased out during December. So I ordered these 3, and this is going to be just a scarf, just a plain scarf to wrap around my neck and just be totally Christmassy. I can't wait to go to the reindeer farm and my hat and my scarf and my red pants and some Christmas socks and just total geek out at Christmas. So that's an option. That would knit incredibly fast. I think I knit the hat in like an hour. And then I have the hat I talked about last time with shepherd's wool from the colorwork hat that Kevin wears in Home Alone. So that is potential. I have yarn in here, which is the shepherd's wool again, but I have a cream, the red, a green, and a green, these 3, to make Christmas stockings for... They're not technically my neighbors anymore. Amanda lived there, and now she got married, so she moved out of her parents' house. So these are for Christmas stockings for them, for a wedding gift. They got married in June, but I mean, they're not going to need Christmas stockings in June, so I got plenty of time. So that is on the docket, 2 Christmas stockings. And then, one more non-sock project. Everyone raves about Spin Cycle yarns, and if you have not heard about Spin Cycle, they're out of are they in Washington or are they in Oregon? They're somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and they claim to have revolutionized a process of making yarn. So instead of dyeing the yarn after it's spun, they dye the roving in an interesting way and then spin it, ply it, and make a yarn. It makes it extremely variegated, which is really cool. And but there's some other dyers and companies that have been doing something similar for a while as well. So it's kind of like, you don't know. And now that I'm looking at this, I don't even know if this is Primrose. Yay! So Primrose is another dyer. I think she's out of Texas. My girlfriend Chelsea really, really, really loves Primrose, and I do too. Her booth is always just crazy packed at Rhinebeck. So she started doing a similar process. So it's got kind of this hand spun quality to it. So that's this green. And I don't think people really think too much about green being a holiday color. So I really also I've been on the hunt for good greens to highlight. And I picked up this pretty like gray silver. So I'm going to pair those 2 together and do some sort of color work. I'm imagining a cowl, just one cowl with some fun. I know Christy Glass has a pattern. That would be fun. So this is the Sport Weight, I believe. Yep, Sport Weight Primrose. Super excited to do that. So there's that one. So several colorwork projects. And then we delve into the yarn collection. So I have some self-striping yarns in here. I have just variegated yarns. Some of them are paired together. And then I have odds and ends of the leftovers of everything I've made. So I'm going to have to come up with something creative to this. So both of these 2 are from Sweet Tea Yarns. And both of them are from Village Yarn Company. Sorry, Katie. Katie, it just doesn't roll off my tongue ever. So Village Yarn Company down in Zionsville, Indiana. And it's such a cute little town. I am very much into Gilmore Girls, and this town gives me the Gilmore Girls vibe. It's cobblestones. There's cute little shops and restaurants, and of course the yarn shop. And you can go and visit, and it's fabulous. Miss you, Katie. Miss going to the shop and partying. And also there's a fabulous tavern across the street called The Friendly, and best burgers and wings. Oh, so good. Miss The Friendly. So these are 2 from Sweet Tea Fiber, and they have stellina in them. So they almost look identical. This one's cream and this one's baby pink. I actually saw somebody else start knitting these up, and I texted Katie, and I was like, Katie, do you have peppermint ice cream? And she did. So I was like, can you send it to me? And it's very similar to Holly Jolly, the other one. So those are fun. I don't know if I'd pick some sort of texture pattern or just straight tack knit. We'll see what happens. Then I have, this one is from Leo and Roxy. They're out of, I think they're in Toronto. I know they're in Ontario somewhere. Christmas Yarn Club 2020. So Leo and Roxy. So there's some fun speckles and then 2 contrasting. I'll probably reverse them or stripe them or something. I love a contrasting yarn when it comes with. Love it. It just makes me so happy. This one's from Chelsea Lux Hand Dyed. This is very, very moody and romantic. It gives me kind of like, it reminds me of Little Women. Is that weird? I consider Little Women a Christmas movie because there is the Christmas scene when their dad comes home from the war. So this one's called Holly Berry. So super moody. I love that. Then I have one from Lolo Did It, which I actually bought when I lived back in Indiana. This one's called Oh Holy Night. And I bought one of my past Christmas socks is Lolo Did It is very into pop culture. So movies, music, that's where she gets her inspiration. TV shows, television, all that kind of stuff. So she has one colorway called Chrismica. Or is it Chrismica? Right? From Seinfeld? She has a colorway, and I never heard of that episode or anything like that. And I'd watched Seinfeld as a kid. My parents were way into Seinfeld, so I've seen it, but didn't register or remember it. So I bought that's I think about a couple skeins, and I knit a pair of socks for Brenton and me and both the girls when they were babies. So that was really fun. And in that I also bought Oh Holy Night, which is like a dark, moody teal. It's so funny because I have super bright Christmas socks and then super moody ones. This skein cracks me up. So this is from Dragon Horde Yarn. And like, I mean, just look at this. Ugh. So yummy and delicious. Comes with a contrasting midi, and it is called Holiday Hangover. This is on her Myth base, which is 75/25 merino and nylon. And I bought this skein, and then my birthday is January 1st, so it's generally really hard. Not really hard, but I mean, I just end up buying a lot of my own presents. Sorry, because there's so many good things that I just buy. So it was really funny because Brenton had ordered me this same skein. So actually, this is my second skein. So I already have a pair of socks made out of this. So maybe I'll try and dig and see if I can find the other mini and do something interesting and make them look slightly different. So that's really funny. This one is from Molly from Homespun House. And this is her, what year was this? 2018 Christmas at Hogwarts. It's a 80/20 superwash with nylon. So I've had this in stash for a while. My mom got it for me for Christmas. So those need to happen. I do really love that she chose a green mini with it, but I don't know why. I don't know why these colors just don't read Christmas or Hogwarts to me. But I have it. Let's use it. And that's in there. Then I have a self-striping. I need to set these things over. It's so... my lap is filling up. And then I have my last Christmas self-striping from the Cozy Knitter. I think I've made... this might be number 5 out of her Christmas themes. Love it. This one is called Country Christmas. And I ordered 2 of these skeins. Yep. Here's the rest of the other one. So I'll start knitting off this before I use this. My dad's girlfriend, Karen, whom I love. I've known her since I was a small kid. She used to babysit me. Crazy how things work out, right? But love Grandma Karen. My kids love Grandma Karen. She's super sweet. So she got a pair of socks out of this last Christmas. So far she has 2 pairs of socks. Oh, Grandma Karen, I'm going to have to work on that and get my mom and you guys both another pair this year. So I don't know. This was just her, and I tricked her into picking it out. So that was left over from her, I have this skein from Regia called Candy Color. Self-striping. Gotta do that. I don't remember when I picked this up. I'm sure it was an order when I was ordering some Regia. If you've never used Regia, it's worth it. Regia socks last forever. My longest living pair of hand knit socks is from Regia. More than a decade old, and they're still going. So, worth it. Such a good yarn. It feels... It's by no means as soft as this. They do soften up with wear and washing. They're safe to go in the wash. I don't usually put any of my socks through the dryer. These are safe to put through the dryer. Mine have gone through the dryer a couple times, and they're absolutely fine. They're just the wear on that. You just can't. And then I have, look at this. Look at all these ends. Look at all these ends from all these socks that I've made. So there's, I mean, stop. Look at that. Look how fun and bright that is. So I have to decide what I'm going to do with all these ends. I can't decide if I want to, look at Luna Pearls, Polaris. Like, shut the front door. I think I have enough. I could probably make one more pair just because they're so good. So many different, like, here's some of the leftovers from the Schitt's Creek so just, I don't know. There's a sweater from Andrea Mowry that, oh man, what is it? I'll pull up the iPad and find it because I was just looking at it today. It's a colorwork sweater. It's a cardigan. And it's so cool. It's colorwork the whole thing. There it is. Spark. Let me bring my screen brightness down so hopefully you can see it. Well, maybe bring it up a little bit. It's pretty dark. So this one, can you see it? Oh my God. I'm pretty sure she steeks this. Worsted, so I would have to hold my yarns double because all mine's fingering. She does steek it. And really superwash yarn you don't really want to steek because it's too slippery. But I don't know. Something like this would be really fun to use with like one main color to unify all of them. And since lots of self-striping yarn, it would change color along the way. That would be a really unique, cool way to use up my leftovers. Either that or some other kind of scrappy sweater that I can throw into my Christmas sweaters. I don't know. It'll come to me. But pretty much the whole bottom of this, it's full of scraps. Oh my goodness. Maybe it'll be a Christmas blanket that only comes out at the holidays. I don't know. I can only deal with one blanket at a time, though. Anyway. I think that's pretty much it today. I'm going to keep working away on my 2nd Avenue shawl wrap and get that cranked off the needles and get a sweater cast on and select my next Christmas knit. I am feeling the need for another pair of socks, so it'll probably be socks. I just kind of want to crank all those out. I think I'm 9 pairs away. I get to take a break and wait for my Advent skeins to come in November. So if I get all of them done before the end of September, then I can focus on all the other ones and just take a break from socks for a while. I don't know. Oh, one more other thing about socks. So my Stars and Stripes socks, America socks, for Brenton, I posted a picture on Facebook, and Brenton's uncle, who is very, very kind and sweet. I've never met him, sadly. He lives in Arizona, but he's super sweet and always sends birthday cards for my kids and me and Breton. He's never forgotten Breton's birthday or mine or the kids. It's just so sweet and kind. And it's always here in the mailbox the last post day before their birthday, so they get it on time. Just so thoughtful. I started knitting him socks for Christmas 2 years ago, and he very much loved that, and I love that he loved that. You know, even in Arizona, you need nice warm socks, especially in the winter. So he is on Facebook, but he never comments and never likes anything. He's just kind of the silent observer, stalker. Not really, just super, you know, he just doesn't participate much. But he commented, USA, USA, USA. So I jokingly said, this year's Christmas socks? And he goes, 10-4 knit lady. So I had to order more of the Stars and Stripes from Painted Tiger to knit him his Christmas socks this year. So there's also the gift knitting that needs to start happening shortly, and new sweaters for the kids and new hats for the kids. So I'm going to be pretty busy in the next couple months. So you guys all have a great week. I hope you have positivity and light. I'm going to keep going on my week. Happy knitting. Thanks for watching.